To it, man. Time for y'all, man. Everybody's good. Nobody got melted yet because of the heat. God. All praise, man. I feel like we need to make this something. Cool running, you know. Right? So today we're going to touch on the wickedness of Esau, America, Babylon, the city of confusion, and why we need to protect our children. It's very important, right? But first off, let's get Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1, and let's get Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 25.
This is the book of Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. When everybody has to say, "God, gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not to Zion."
Right? Gather yourselves together, especially for the Lord's peace and new moon. O nation not desire. And that's what we're doing as a nation. We're practicing the righteous acts and we're also gathering as a people. God?
God.
What we got?
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse number 25. Not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more, as ye see the day approach.
Right, exhorting one another, and we must understand where we're at right now. In the time that we're in right now, we're in captivity, we're in Babylon right now, right? And the oppressor has been oppressing us day by day. We're suffering, we're going through hardships, and we can Haggai chapter 1 and verse 6. Right? But we still trying to find a way to make us meet in the spirit of Yahweh. But remember, we're in captivity. This is a learning lesson for us. Right? So we can never have to come back to this situation again. We get Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 17. Bring it up.
This is the book of Haggai chapter 1 and verse 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none more. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes.
So that right there is symbolizing the stuff that we're going through in America. We have so much. We work nonstop, 7 days a week, right? But we bring in little because we got to pay for bills. We got to pay for car insurance. We got to pay for everything, right? We don't get a chance to build for ourselves like a fortune wealth, right? Or like financial freedom, which is very hard in these times that we're in, right? Jump that.
This Lamentations chapter 4 and 17. As for us, our eyes as yet faileth for our vain hope and our watching. We have watched for a nation that cannot save us.
And then we try to look for our oppressors to help us. They ain't here to help us. They're here to oppress us. They're here to steal from us, right? To bring us at a lower state, you know?
They reads, they hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are filled, for our end is come.
You know?
Our persecutors are swifter than eagles of the heavens. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness.
Right. So what is this talking about? So we're going to touch on the topic, what's happening in America right now that they're trying to hide. Let me get Jeremiah chapter 49 verse 6. What they're trying to hide is the pedophilia and the child trafficking that's happening. Right? So let's get with this video first. Let's start with this. Let's start with this one real quick. Anybody heard about what happened to the black woman in Alabama that got kidnapped? Right? She stepped out, out of her car on the highway. She tried to help a little child. And that was used as bait for them to kidnap her. And then she was found literally 3 days later. But the reason she was found, because I think the kidnapper, he didn't realize how much people was going to put information on her and to look out for her all throughout the mainstream and the news media. So he probably was there. He was like, damn, this is a black woman ain't nobody caring about. And like, oh, damn, the news is showing her everywhere. I better let her go immediately or I'm going to get caught. Right? So look what happened in this video right here. Let's start with this. Yeah, she was found.
I wouldn't have lasted this long in the entertainment industry if I hadn't taken a few risks. But I'm also a realist because I've seen it all. Gold you everything the stock market can. A hedge against inflation, a protection against economic crashes, and the best way to protect your family and their interests. Gold is the only true global currency. You can get your free gold and silver investment guide today. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com.
You want to talk about gold investment?
It's
She disappeared nearly 2 days ago after making an emergency call. And tonight, investigators are calling this case bizarre. CBS News' Astrid Martinez has the latest on the desperate search. Astrid?
Mark, good evening. Police say Carly Nicole
Yeah,
was
you can hear it?
She's
Huh?
walking on the side of a dark highway. She had immediately called her relative, but during that phone call, the family lost all contact with her. Volunteers and police are fanning out across the Birmingham area this weekend, looking for the 25-year-old woman who vanished after calling 911. She was almost 15 minutes from the house. Police say Carly Russell made the 911 call Thursday evening, pulling over on the side of Interstate 459.
After calling 911, the caller stopped to check on the child and also called a family member to report the same details.
And when she got out of the car, she did tell my daughter-in-law, I can't just leave. I can't just leave this little child on the side of the road. Russell's family says while on the phone, they heard her talking to the child, but they didn't hear the child respond. Then they say Russell screamed.
A single witness has reported possibly seeing a gray vehicle with a light-complected male standing outside of Carly's vehicle.
The nursing student's car and some of her belongings, including her cell phone, were found at the scene, but no sign of her or a child. Russell is 5'4", last seen wearing a black t-shirt, black pants, and white Nike sneakers.
So if y'all can hear, they got a description: 5'4", black pants, black pants, black shirt, and white sneakers. Right? So she came out the car, put off on the side of the road to help protect a little kid. But when she came out the car, she got kidnapped at the same time. So now when she made that call to look out, see there's a kid on the road, when the police came over there, by the time they got there, she wasn't nowhere to be found. Her car was still there, the phone was still there and everything, and she wasn't found nowhere at all. But what happened today, they found out that she was back home, and whoever took her dropped her back home today. All right? You got the article?
This is the New York Post. Right, Alabama woman who stopped to help toddler on highway was kidnapped and fought for her life, boyfriend says. The boyfriend of an Alabama woman who mysteriously turned up home 2 days after vanishing when she stopped to help a toddler in the middle of a busy highway says she was kidnapped and spent the time, quote, fighting for her life. Carly, also known as Nicole Russell, 25, was reported safe at home on Saturday night following a 2-day search prompted by her screams over the phone when she pulled over to assist a child wandering on I-459, police said. Thomar Latrell Simmons, Russell's boyfriend, claims the Good Samaritan was actually kidnapped and is currently recovering after having gone through the awful ordeal. Quote, she was literally fighting for her life for 48 hours. So until she's physically and mentally stable again, she is not able to give any updates or whereabouts on her kidnapper at this very moment, end quote, Simmons wrote on Facebook Sunday. His post echoes what Russell's parents alleged earlier Sunday, that the child, their daughter, tried to help, was actually used as bait to lure her out of her car and kidnap her. Simmons thanked everyone who helped to search for Russell across Hoover, Alabama, and said, Salakia, he was grateful the story gained awareness on social media.
Right. So basically, like the article said, she got kidnapped, and then the person that kidnapped her dropped her back off at her house, right? So what is the main important thing about this? Let me get 2 Corinthians 2 and verse 11. And this happened a lot. If y'all see on Facebook or social media or even Instagram, there's people that's always posting missing person, missing black woman, missing black child, or whatever. And nobody do anything about it, right? So the person that kidnapped her is probably thinking, ain't nobody going to respond, ain't nobody going to bring out any message about her to look for her. So that the person had to kidnap her and bring her back to her house, that's showing you that what? There's so many wicked things going on in America right now that nobody's talking about right in front of your eyes, and the news media don't even mention it, so you get desensitized to it, right? So bring what you got on.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage over us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
Same as the news media, the television. We don't own that. So they can portray whatever they want on the news, and they don't bring the subject that the so-called black woman is getting kidnapped at a crazy amount in America. There was a case 2 years ago, it said more than 600,000, more than 300,000 black women were being kidnapped and missing, and nobody was able to find them. And now what's happening, all these transgender men that's coming in out of nowhere, all of a sudden they're able to have children. All of a sudden they got a new, a woman's private part, as they would call it. Right? And they're harvesting the bodies. Because a black man and a woman, their melanin is worth more than gold. Right? So we're worth more than gold to Esau and everything. A black man that weighs at least 180 pounds, 6'2", 180 pounds, he's worth at least $23 million because of his melanin all throughout his body. Right?
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 21 and 16.
So this is Exodus chapter 21 and verse 16.
And like the brother said, America don't keep any laws. This is a lawless nation, right? They say in God we trust, but they break all of the covenants. That was with the Native Americans, all the peace treaties. So this is a hypocritical nation. I'm going to read this, Exodus 21 and 16. And he that stealeth a man, what it means to steal a man, meaning to kidnap. So if you was found kidnapping somebody in the ancient world and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So all of the so-called black women that have been kidnapped, and it's chiefly Esau doing it. Like the brother said, I don't know if brother seen that. It was one clip of this rich white guy. He flew out some Eves from the islands, and he was trying to pay them for their eggs. Brother seen that? Yeah, y'all gotta look into that. He was trying to pay them for their eggs. Yeah. He kept going, he said $50. Then he kept going up to the thousands. And they was just confounded. Right? So according to the law, these men are supposed to be put to death. When you read Genesis 40:15, and Joseph, he was stolen away, kidnapped out of the land of the Hebrews. So this just shows you how lawless America actually is.
And get Genesis 40:15. Because even that's going to touch on that. Even some of our people is going to betray each other and sell each other to the Edomites and to the heathens. Our people's going to do that. And the Bible's going to show you a quick example right here. Right? Because our people going to want that money, man. Right? You sell this person off, you get 10 million, you get 3 million. You got to sell your own people off. Because of the wickedness that's happening all around America.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 40 and 15.
So this is Genesis chapter 40 and verse 15. Can anybody have to say Khan?
For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews.
See? Same as us as a nation. We were stolen out of our land. God? Put on slave ships and brought over here to America. Read on.
And here also have I done nothing, that they should put me into the dungeon.
And that dungeon symbolized the captivity that we're in right now. So it's funny how people want to celebrate Independence Day. We're not free yet. We're still here. We have no rights. They can start an LGBT agenda and they got more rights than us. We've been here for 400 years. So we still ain't getting no rights. The Asian could come in, the Ishmaelites could come in, and he's still able to build stores and all different types of things. Right? What happened to the Stop Hate Asian Act? Stop the hate, Asian hate. Joe Biden written a bill immediately for Moab Just because a couple of Moabs got beat down. Right? But what about us? We getting beat down every day. We getting shot up every day. What happened to stop the Israelite hate? Or stop the black and Hispanic hate bill? They don't write none of these type of laws for us. And this country is not for us. Right? Let's get
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24 and verse 7. If a man be found stealing any of his brethren, of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth them, then that thief shall die. And thou shalt put away evil from among them.
See, that thief shall die, and you shall put away evil from among you. Read that from the top again.
If a man be found stealing any of his brethren, of the children,
a man be found stealing of his own people, you know,
of Israel, and maketh merchandise out of him.
What is merchandise of your own people? You sell your own people to the markets, right? To the slave auctions, you know?
Or selleth them, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put away evil from among you.
Right. So now let's talk about the sex trafficking that's happening, or child trafficking. Right? Let's get to the next video right.
My name is Tyler Deverell. I'm inviting you to attend my brand new 2-hour
Yes, lock it for all the
YouTube.
YouTube.
I'll show you what 99% of real estate is.
Good afternoon, Chairman McClintock, Ranking Member Japal,
Can you hear it?
and distinguished members of the committee. It is an honor to be here.
So this woman is about to confess about the things that America is doing. She's working for the American government, and she didn't even notice until now that they was committing child trafficking. Right? So watch this.
Thank you for the invitation to share my testimony. My goal is to inspire action to safeguard the lives of migrant children, including the staggering 85,000 that are missing. Today, children will work overnight shifts at slaughterhouses, factories, restaurants to pay their debts to smugglers and traffickers. Today, children will be sold for sex. Today, children will call a hotline to report they are being abused, neglected, and trafficked. We don't know if they're going to get the help they need. For nearly a decade, unaccompanied children have been suffering in the shadows. And I have to confess, I knew nothing about their suffering until 2021, when I volunteered to help the Biden administration with the crisis at the southern border. As part of Operation Artemis, I was deployed to the Pomona Fairplex Emergency Intake Site in California to help HHS, Office of Refugee Resettlement, reunite children with sponsors in the United States. I thought I was going to help place children in loving homes. Instead, I discovered that children are being trafficked through a sophisticated network that begins with recruiting in home country, smuggling to the U.S. border, and ends when ORR delivers a child to a sponsor. Some sponsors are criminals and traffickers and members of transnational criminal organizations. Some sponsors view children as commodities and assets to be used for earning income. This is why we are witnessing an explosion of labor trafficking. Now, whether it's intentional or not, it could be argued that the United States government has become the middleman in a long.
You heard what she just said? The United States is the middleman. And this is a woman that worked for the U.S. She said they're the middleman for this trafficking.
Large scale, multi-billion-dollar child trafficking operation that is run by bad actors seeking to profit off of the lives of children. As for me, my interest is the safety of the children. I do not view this as a political issue. I view this as a humanitarian issue. I assure you, my motives are the highest and best. I want the children protected. So I'm going to tell you some of what I witnessed personally at the Pomona Fairplex. I saw vulnerable indigenous children from Guatemala who speak Mayan dialects and cannot speak Spanish. That means they cannot ask for help in English. They cannot ask for help in Spanish. They become captives of their sponsors. I have sat with case managers as they've cried to tell me the horror of what has happened to children as they make the journey to this country. I saw apartment buildings where 20, 30, and 40 unaccompanied minors have been released. I saw sponsors trying to simultaneously sponsor children from multiple ORR sites at one time. I saw sponsors using multiple addresses to obtain sponsorships of children. And I saw numerous cases of children in debt bondage, and the child knew they had to stay with the sponsor until the debt was paid. Realizing that we were not offering the children the American dream, but instead putting them in modern-day slavery with wicked overlords, was a terrible revelation.
So look, it said, put these children in modern-day slavery, and it said with wicked overlords. Right? Let me get prayer of Azariah chapter 1 and verse 1. So this is an Edomite confessing the wickedness that's happened in America and saying America is the middleman for this child trafficking that's going all over the earth. Right? From South America. And what they do with Issachar on the borders of Mexico is that they portray Issachar as the enemy, but guess what? All these damn drug cartels, either way, they work for the U.S. The U.S. got to have a bad guy so the U.S. is like the hero in any story. That's what he did with Saddam Hussein. That's what he did with Osama bin Laden. Both of them were CIA operatives that were working for the U.S. After the U.S. used them to destabilize countries and to rule over that country, and the U.S. didn't need them no more, then they put them portrayed in the media as an enemy, and we got to find a way to destroy Saddam Hussein or Osama bin Laden. And they use it as a proxy war to infiltrate Iran or Afghanistan, and guess what? To get what? The drugs. Gold, oil, and drugs. The poppy seed, the fields, the plants, all these type of drugs, the cocaine, they get it from these other nations, right? But they got to use them first, and then they do what? They get rid of them after. Right? Bring what you got out.
That's the book of the prayer of Ayarayah, also known as the Song of the Three Holy Children, chapter 1 and verse 9.
Right. This is in the Apocrypha. This page is 108. If anybody got the Apocrypha, it's page 108, the prayer of Azariah. Right? Chapter 1 and verse 9. Right? So remember what she said. Right?
These children, putting them in modern-day slavery with wicked overlords.
See, in modern-day slavery with wicked oppression. Bring it up, man.
This is the book of prayer of Azariah, or the Song of the Three Holy Children, chapter 1 and verse 9. And thou didst deliver us into the hands of the lawless enemies.
See, the hands of the lawless enemies, which are the Edomites, you know,
most hateful forsakers of God.
See, Esau hates the Most High because he don't believe in God. He has his own God, which is Satan, right? Which is the devil, right? You know?
And to an unjust king.
You see, to an unjust king. This damn demon don't follow no laws that he put, right? The man said, in God we trust, but then he legalized homosexuality. And this is their president doing this, you know?
And the most wicked in all the world.
And that's what the lady said. Tyrant, right? Wicked oppressor, the most wicked in all the world. He's the middleman for the trafficking. But then he tried to portray all throughout the earth, he's holy. He's the good guy, he's the hero. Just like their president, man, a damn creep. Walking around sniffing on kids' clothes and biting at them. This is Joe Biden doing this. Right?
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 11, and I'm going to start at verse 36. Right? Because these people that rule over us, the kings that rule over us, right, they don't honor the laws of the Most High God, but rather they go according to Satan, their God. Right?
This is Daniel chapter 11 and verse 36. When everyone have it, say con.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 11 and verse 36. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that that is determined shall be done. So he's going to do this until his very end. He's going to be as wicked and as vile as he can up until his very end. And it says, neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, because look, when it says the God of his fathers, Abraham and Isaac is Esau's fathers too. But he don't honor the God of his forefathers, right? But he honors Satan, right? Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women. And we know how Esau gets down. Right. He don't honor the desire of women, right? Right. Nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. Any God that any other nation puts up, he's going to magnify himself over all. And he'll actually make their gods into him and exalt himself in that way. Right? Job 9:24, he covered the faces of the judges thereof. Right? And he do that to everybody's nationality and to everybody's God. But we know that there's only one true God. It says, but in his estate shall he honor the God of forces, and that's his God. He believes that he's protected under him, right? And it says, and a God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor with gold and with silver and with precious stones and pleasant things, man. So he got the little Jesus piece going on, man, right? He honoring those gods, right? And it says, thus shall he do the most strongholds with a strange God whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory, and he shall cause them to rule over many and shall divide land therein. So he goes by the ways of Satan himself, right? Just like we're the representation of the Most High God, Yahweh's reputation. He's the representation of evil and wickedness itself up in the earth, of Satan himself, and that's who he puts above all, and that's up in his image. All right, Satan is up in his image.
It's the book, to add it to what the brother said, it's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 11 and 32. All right, 2nd Esdras, chapter 11 and verse number 32. And when you go into 2nd Esdras, chapter 11 and 12, you read about the 12 feathers, right, in the 3 years. Now, we're not doing a whole breakdown, but it's chiefly going into, this is the same vision that Daniel seen. Esdras and Daniel seen the same vision, which was the Roman Empire, but it's described as an eagle. This 2nd Esdras 11 and 32, but this here put the whole earth in fear. Now, one of the 3 years is America, and everybody's scared of America at one point in time. You had China, right? The Arabians, right? Ishmaelites. It says, and bear rule in it over all those that dwell upon the earth with much oppression. And America is the most oppressive kingdom, all right? Even oppresses the other nations. It says, and it had the governance of the world more than all the wings that had been. So you read in prophecy about America time in and time out, doing nothing but oppressing, being unjust and unrighteous, right?
And like the brother was saying, with America being oppressive, they lost their damn mind. Let me show you how. Let me get Jeremiah chapter 49.
This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 10. Everybody has it. Say
start at verse 7. Start at verse 7.
God. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 7.
Because check this, everybody's so fed up with America, even their own citizens is exposing them. Anybody remember Eric Snowden? And the information he was bringing out, that America's gonna put all these, all your cameras and your phones and your TVs and everything, that the CIA and them is spying on us and watching everything that we're doing. Eric Snowden exposed that, and they tried to lock him up and kill him, and he fled to another country. Right? So America portrayed him as what? As a whistleblower, like he was a criminal. No, he's telling you the truth about what's going on. But now they put him as a whistleblower, which is a label to make him like he's crazy, like conspiracy theorists. Right? He's exposing, letting people know that, listen, the people that you serve that you think is the good guy, they're the actual villain. And they're not just the villain, they're the villain of all villains. They're the super villain. They're wicked as hell. Right? Bring what you got out.
That's the book of Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts. Is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back. Dwell deep, O inhabitants of the dam.
So the Lord is saying, is there any more wisdom in Edom and any more wisdom in America? Because America used to be portrayed as the greatest country in the earth, the smartest country, right? It was damn near like heaven on earth. Everybody looked at Bill Clinton like making wise decisions. But now all these nations looking at America, they said they can't lead nobody. Russia said that 2 years ago. They said America's not fit to lead no nations. And the worst thing about it, which is good for us, that they got the most stupidest, dumbest president ever in history, man. This man got amnesia. This man fell like 30 times. The man walked up the damn Air Force One jet flight steps and fell. The man was on a damn triathlon bike race and fell. The man made a speech, and the Marines giving him a salute. And before the speech was over, he walked down the steps and he fell. Like, this dude is falling all over the place. And this is their president. Right, like Babylon is falling. Revelation 18 and 2.
God.
Right? Babylon is falling, it's falling. Right? And that's what's happening with Joe Biden. He's supposed to be their king. Right? Jump to verse 10 now.
Verse 10. But I have made Esau bare.
Right?
But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places.
So what is the Lord doing? The Lord is uncovering these secrets by using these American citizens, these people that work for the government, and basically uncover the secrets of the child sex trafficking happening. And this woman says she found this out 2021. She didn't even know. She found this out 2021, and she's like, it's not even about the money. It's not even about the nation that he's serving. This is about a humanitarian type of thing, man. Now, this is uncalled for right here. All right?
A terrible
Here we go.
population. These children are a captive victim population with no access to law enforcement or knowledge of their rights.
See? No access to law enforcement. Why? Because the law enforcement is in on it. That's why they got something called ICE. The ICE is a literal police form task force that was set up to arrest immigrants. That's what he did with Trump when he said build that wall. They put the so-called Issacharites, the Mexicans, in cages for 30 days. And they was molesting them. Even the little girls. But they didn't put that in news. So America set up a task force, and those task forces used to do what? Keep the money within the country, within the business. Everything in America is a business. The damn lawyers work for the damn government. The damn judges, they all work for the same people. And they all making a money scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme. So when she said no task force or no police to help, because they're in on it.
They are extorted, abused, neglected. And that is why I blew the whistle in 2021. I witnessed firsthand the horror.
So this is 2021, she said. But then this video popped up again in 2023. So she spoke about it in 2021 and had to bring up the issue again in 2023 because nobody was listening. But now you see how the Spirit is working? There's a movie that's called Freedom, something Freedom. We'll touch on that too, right? And we're going to show you how to
child trafficking and exploitation. My life will never be the same after what I saw.
Let me get 1 Matthew 7:35.
Because I'm counting on you. It's my hope that you'll take action to end this crisis, to safeguard the lives of most of these vulnerable children. People have asked me, what can be done? What would you suggest? Well, first, I think HHS's #1 priority is oversight. They must commit to oversight, transparency, and accountability. If I could wave a magic wand, this, I believe, could be quickly solved by experts in the IG community. There is a Pandemic Analytics Center of Excellence, or the PACE, as we call it. I believe if data analysts at the PACE could look at the data, children could be rescued, criminals could be prosecuted. If the PACE had access to this data, it shows where the children are and who has them. I think also we need to change the culture of speed over safety. Speed is the wrong performance measure when dealing with children. We need to revamp the vetting process of sponsors and have case managers who have investigative backgrounds, data analytics backgrounds, and certified fraud examiners. And I think we need to reimagine a system where the sponsor is the accountable party. Sponsors should be required to report to ORR. And lastly, stop retaliating against whistleblowers. Stop retaliating against the people who are trying to tell the truth to save the children. As it is written, the wise man listens to advice, Our fool continues in his folly, and HHS needs to be wise to care for these children.
Now, I don't know if y'all noticed, man, right? She bringing out all this, right? And look at the people in the back, right? That woman is smiling, man, while all this is being brought out. And he in the corner look like, I can't believe she's really bringing out this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of felt like to me the people behind her already know what's going on, man. Right? The whole government knows what's going on. Right? That's why a brother brought out a song of the Three Holy Children, right? Prayer of Ayarayah. We was given into the hands of a lawless people, man. These people make laws, but then they break them and they do their own thing, man. And it is done to our people, man. Right? Ain't nobody in this room laughing but the damn Edomite want to laugh, man. Because she understands it's not being done to her people, but it's being done to us, man.
And check this. This is in the Bible. 1 Maccabees 7:35.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 10 and verse 34. Furthermore, I will that all the feasts and the Sabbath and the new moons and solemn days and the 3 days before the feast and 3 days after the feast shall be all days of immunity and freedom for all the Jews in my realm.
And this is the spirit, right? Freedom for all the Jews in my realm. This is the spirit. Let's see why. Read on.
Also, no man shall have authority to meddle with them or to molest any of them in any matter.
Or to do what?
Molest any of them in any matter.
And this is what it's talking about with the child trafficking. Sex trafficking. Right? What do I mean by that? Speaking about the freedom of the Jews, right? Let's get to this next video.
If you're getting injured in a car accident, don't call an attorney. Use this AI app instead. On July 4th, the #1 movie in America wasn't Indiana Jones.
So pay attention to this. It says on July 4th, the #1 movie in America was not Indiana Jones. Right? That old damn Edomite. And what is he doing? They call him a treasure hunter, right? Archaeologist, whatever. He's just a legalized thief. That's what he is. He's just a thief with a license. That's it. Going around nowhere where he got to mind his damn business, stealing from everybody else like Esau does today. Right? He go to all these different pyramids and caves and cities and museums, and he takes everything for himself. Right? And then deem it as archaeology. He's just a legalized thief. That's it. With a license. Right? So they try to portray that as the #1 movie, right? But look how the Most High mocked them. Let me get Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Because this is on 4th of July. On 4th of July, we was at the White House, rebuking the White House for their wickedness. What happened on that same day of 4th of July? The exact same day we go out there to teach, rebuke the White House, breaking news, there's cocaine found in the damn White House, the West Wing. Crack cocaine. Right? And come to find out, Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, now we know what he was hunting for. Right? Some of that snow blower, that Joe Snow, right? Or that damn chronic. Right? Or that white powder, right? Crack cocaine is found in the White House. Now we know why it's called the White House. Right? That same day, 4th of July, not only that, 4th of July was the day that it was the hottest day on the earth. And not just that, it was also a blood moon. And crack cocaine was found in the White House. But guess what also was bringing out on the 4th of July? I'll bring what you got real quick, guys. 6 and 7.
This is the book of Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
Right, so Indiana Jones, a movie about a damn thief going all over stealing everything. And what else was put out on the 4th of July? Independence Day?
Disney spent $300 million resurrecting Harrison Ford and releasing the summer blockbuster. But there's another movie dominating the box office. It's called The Sound of Freedom. And it beat Indiana Jones on opening day.
So this movie's called The Sound of Freedom, and it beat Indiana Jones on Independence Day. Let's see why.
The film's based off the true story of Tim Ballard, a former Homeland Security special agent who saved kids from an international sex trafficking ring.
It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen.
For Homeland Security, you know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia. This job tears you to pieces. And this is my moment to just put those pieces back together.
So you quit your job and you go rescue those kids.
This movie zeroes in on the multi-billion-dollar human trafficking industry and honors a hero, someone who saved children from sex slavery. But to the media, this person isn't a hero. Someone who rescues kids from pedophiles is a villain.
These films are created out of moral panics, they're created out of bogus statistics, they're created out of fear, and with something like Sound of Freedom, it specifically is looking at QAnon concepts of these child trafficking rings that are run by the high-level elites.
For some reason, the entire media is smearing this movie as a dangerous conspiracy theory. The press is saying that the star, Jim Caviezel, is a QAnon guy. And Jim plays Tim Ballard, which is strange because just a few years ago, the same media was celebrating Tim Ballard's heroics. Watch.
Tim Ballard has one mission: to track down child traffickers. 4 months ago, Colombian authorities asked him to investigate a tip that children were being sold there as sex slaves.
Within a half hour, this individual walks up to me, starts asking me what I'm here for, what I want, and within minutes, he said, well, I've got kids as young as 11 years old.
Wow. So why is the media warning people not to see a movie about child sex trafficking that's based on a true story? Well, the Spear Fund founder, Tim Ballard, joins me now. So Tim, why is the media hating this movie?
So look, like I was saying, the Lord is putting the spirits or even these Edomites to expose the wickedness of their own people. All right? Now, the same man that they portrayed as a hero 4 years ago, and if you see where that started the movie, it said the chosen. The chosen is who? The children of Israel. Everybody ain't gonna see these signs. This happened on July 4th, so-called Independence Day, but it's a movie that he made about people getting put in captivity and slavery, which is slave auction, which is child trafficking. The Lord is mocking America right now. Look what you got out.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 10 and verse 34. Furthermore, I will that all the feasts and the Sabbaths and the new moons and the solemn days and the 3 days before the feast and 3 days after the feast shall be all days of immunity and freedom.
And what?
And freedom.
And what?
And freedom.
And the sound of freedom. That's what we're looking for. That's what this movie is for. Sound of freedom to do what? Let them kids go. Also to do what? Let the children of Israel go from our captivity. That's why Moses and Aaron came to the Pharaoh and said, what? Let my people go. But Esau is gathering everybody. Right? Well, we can have 25. Yeah, right? And these Edomites expose. So Jay can't say we BS or we conspiracy. No, the white man, the one that you love and that you worship like a god, is the one that's telling you what's going on. Right? Hold on.
It's the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse number 5. It reads, Yea, also, because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home.
See, neither keepeth at home. These military bases that America set up, it's not just in America. They put it all over the world. And that's why Russia's fed up. They ain't messing around with America no more. China as well. They ain't messing around with America. They ready to send some nukes over here. You know?
It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations.
See, gathered unto himself all people. Read on.
And heapeth unto him all people.
You see, all nations, all people. Right? So he's gathering everybody. He's putting everybody through that child trafficking. Right? That's what I'm reading through something.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 18. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 18. And I'm going to start at verse number... I'm going to start at 12. It reads, and this is going into Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America. It says, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls, and fine linen, and purple, and silk, and scarlet. It's going into all the things that America trades with the third world countries. And all dying wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of precious wood, and of brass, and of iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine and oil. This is the point. And fine flour and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. So not only is America selling and doing trade with these different metals, these precious jewels, it's also trading slaves. And not only that, the souls of men. It's not talking about a jar with a man sold it and then giving it to China. That's all, right? It's talking, men sell their soul out for Babylon the Great. And America has all of the souls of the men and women that sold out their morals for money.
All right, so let's go back to this video.
You know, I can't understand it. The film was made, produced, written like 5 years, 6 years ago, way before anyone heard the name QAnon. I still don't even know what QAnon is. In the meantime, they're trying to connect it to some conspiracy when, in fact, like you said, this is a true story. These are real kids. I mean, these kids are my friends. They're young adults now, the ones who were rescued. They're going to come out soon and tell their story. It's going to be very awkward when the mainstream media comes after these kids next and accuses them of being part of some conspiracy when, in fact, they were rescued from a life of rape. It's the most bizarre thing we've ever seen in the media, perhaps.
I mean, this publication says The Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brain worms, and that it fetishizes the torture of its child victims. Is that what the movie does?
It absolutely does not do that. It tells a story based in truth. And, you know, what I think is happening, Jesse, I think that the left, these media outlets, they don't want to have a discussion that this film is going to compel. A discussion about why 85,000 children showed up unaccompanied at the border and got released into the interior of a country that is the highest consuming country for child exploitation material on the planet. They don't want to talk about why these same publications are pushing an agenda to change the word pedophile to minor attracted persons in order to normalize sexual activity with children. I think that's what they're trying to avoid, and they know this film's going to shine a light on all of the things, all the atrocities happening in children, and so they have to discredit it by lying about it.
So what would their motivation be to discredit a movie that's trying to shine a spotlight onto atrocities committed against children?
Well, if the truth of human trafficking and child exploitation were to be brought to bear, brought to light, then they would have to have a debate, a discussion that they don't want to have about, again, these policies around sexualizing children or allowing children to consent at a young age to do anything and everything, which would eventually include being, you know, identifying as an adult perhaps and having sex with pedophiles. I hunt pedophiles. I've been hunting them for 20 years, and they are watching this and they're salivating. They are happy that Rolling Stones and The Guardian are ripping on a movie that exposes them. So I don't like the fact that these media outlets are, in fact, wittingly or unwittingly, running interference for human traffickers and pedophiles.
Yeah, well,
So this is the guy that created that movie to expose the wickedness of America. And they try to bring his movie down, try to talk about he's a conspiracy theorist. But 4 years ago, they say he was a good man, he was a hero. But the problem is that now people's finding out that the trafficking is happening in America. America's the middleman. And everybody's exposing it now. So now there's an issue. Right?
This is the book of Titus, chapter 1 and verse 12. One of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said the Christians are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies. Right? So one of their own is really coming out and trying to expose the wickedness of their own nation now. Right? This needs to be looked at. This shouldn't be taken lightly because it has to do with mostly our kids. Right? I still got a friend from when I was in high school. I was a sophomore in high school, and her older sister went missing. Purse on the table, keys on the table, phone on the table. But she's still missing to this very day. There's a mural painted right down the street from where we live, of her face. She was on 140, the 48-hour show, right? Shania Laws was her name, right? My friend's name, right? I'm not gonna put her sister name out, right? But you can see her on 48 hours. These things are serious, right? These things cannot be taken lightly, and that's exactly why we have to train up our children in the way that they should go. Keep them away from their enemies, right? Because Lord willing, Lord give me children, it's gonna be ill. That's an Edomite, all right? That's what I'm training them up as, all right? Hey, my daddy told me not to talk to you. Well, why is that? Because you're not of my people. Playing upon tables, right? So I understand y'all want, some people want kids to just be kids, but no, right? They got to grow up in the spirit of Jeremiah. Jeremiah was brought up from a young age. Sirach chapter 6 and verse 18 tells our young men and our youngest in general to gather wisdom and instruction from thy youth up. And then you will have wisdom in thine old age. So we have to train them up in these ways so that they know, especially, to separate. I want to grab one more, so right?
Like the brother was saying, man, this is very important. You know, that's why we gotta understand the agenda that America is pushing, they can't get to us. So they gotta get to the children, which is the next generation, the future. You know, we gotta protect our children. Right?
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 11 and verse 32. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall be corrupt by flatteries. So if we don't train up our children in the way that they should go, which is according to the Most High God, then these other heathens can come around. The kids like, hey, kid, do you want some candy? And then lure them in and then snatch them up. It says, but the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. That's the way we have to raise our children. And that's the reason why we have to raise them in the law, statutes, and commandments.
So that's Daniel chapter 11, verse 32, and Titus 1 and 12, and a quick precept was Sirach 6 and 18. Make sure you got that written down, and we're going to the next one. 1 Maccabees 3 and verse 40. And everybody have to say comment. Yeah, 1 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 40.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 40. So they went forth with all their power and came and pitched by Emos in the plain country. And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much with servants and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for
to do what?
To buy the children of Israel.
Same as with these child trafficking. These heathens took that money and they heard about us, right? We're getting kidnapped, and they came to buy us. You know?
To buy the children of Israel for slaves.
You see? For slaves. That's why the Edomites said, man, ain't nobody can help them. The police is in on it, the government is in on it, nobody can help them. Right? This is all in the scriptures. That's it on that.
To buy the children of Israel for slaves, a power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them.
So it said the Syrians and the Philistines. That's why the Lord killed 40,000 Syrians with that earthquake. Right? And then the Hamites, the Philistines, sold us out. Right? Like in Joel chapter 3. Right? So let's get this next one. That's why they had that movie Blood Diamond. They had that other movie, The Woman King.
6-year-old black girl, a child, escapes a would-be kidnapper. Let's put it up full mass, picture up full mass. Now, I know we say to children, don't bite them. But in this case, obviously an exception needed to be made. In Miami, a 6-year-old girl saved herself from an alleged would-be kidnapper. The girl says that Leonardo Venegas tried to abduct her as she was playing outside her apartment, and she bit him hard, which was enough to stop this would-be kidnapper. The girl told reporters, quote, "He picked me up, and then he slapped me, then he threw me on the floor and started running." The kids noticed a white SUV parked near the victim's apartment. Most of them went inside, but the child sat on the rear stairway. Police reviewed security footage and identified the white SUV allegedly driven by the would-be kidnapper. 2 days later, the arrest report says investigators had tracked the vehicle to an address where the would-be kidnapper was taken into custody. Let's put up a picture of the apartment complex. So he has now been charged with 1 count each of kidnapping and child abuse with no great bodily harm. Miami-Dade corrections and rehabilitation records show that this individual is being held in detention without bond because he's dangerous. He also appears to have an outstanding warrant for an expired driver's license and a warrant for an apparent immigration violation. The child told reporters that she learned her self-defense techniques from her mother. All right? Let's put her up. There's mom. Her mother told her, who told WPLG that she told her daughter to fight back. You have to teach your kids not to speak to strangers and protect themselves even when you're not around. The girl's mom is Tisha McGill, and she taught her daughter very well. This is a tragedy averted, but still a tragedy.
And this is just one of thousands of stories that they don't portray on the media. All right, that's what made that story about the sister in Alabama so profound. Because I bet that kidnapper, they didn't think they'll put her damn face all over the media for 2 days straight. And he had to bring her back to her house. And then now the reporter's asking her what happened, and she's not saying that. You probably crying her. All right, this is what's happening. We get 2 more. To show y'all one about this guy right here. It's creepy demon.
Some of the news you might have missed this past week. It's pretending to be something they're not. This is either an optical illusion.
So this is Joe Biden.
You can't make this stuff up, honestly. And speaking of Biden, we all know he's made some seriously weird comments in his time, but I may have found one that takes the cake. Have a look.
This is Joe Biden sniffing a child, man. Like a damn animal, like a dog. Yo, this is their president.
And
don't tell mommy what I told you.
There's a full video on this.
Yo.
I posted this on my Facebook, and I think I put it in our group chat. He told this little girl, man, she was the most, I'm gonna put beautiful, but you know, S word, right? She's the most beautiful girl, little girl that he has ever seen. And then that's when he said, hey, don't tell your mom I told you. This is the president of the United States, man. Coming after children. He is the middleman that they talking about.
Right.
He's the one doing this. He know all about this, man. This is not the only video. There's multiple videos of him grabbing up children, bringing them into the White House, and telling their parents they got to stay back now. He's that middleman. Ain't nobody gonna arrest him, man. Ain't nobody gonna try to assassinate him either. He already down there on his deathbed now. He, what, 80? 80 something? Ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it, but you know, these videos constantly being made, and we know that our children are coming up missing, man. These vexing to the spirit for real.
All right, so one more on the topic. All right, one more on the topic. So this is an article right here. It says parents in the UK can now be arrested for not paying for their child's sex transition. Yeah. So not only do they want to force your child to change their gender, they say you better help pay for it now. Right? Parents in the UK can now be arrested. All this is coming to America. They had an article about France. Y'all heard about the riots in France? Right? They had an article about France that they said now because of that riot, they made it legalized for the FBI and the police officers in France to open and to investigate everybody's phone, everybody's computer, everybody's TV and everything. So they basically made it legal in France to spy on your electronics, all technology that you got, to all citizens in France. So why am I bringing that up? If they can do that in France, what the hell do you think they're doing in the U.S. right now? They made it legal because of that riot. They made it legal that they can check all your information on your phone, on your TV, and everything. They can spy on you without you even knowing it. If they're doing that in France, what the hell do you think they're doing in the U.S.? And everything that go around all these nations and these countries is all going to come to the U.S. and be worse 100 times more. Everything. So this is Babylon the Great. Right? It says parents in the UK can now be arrested for not paying for their child's sex transition. And look, the pops was like, bro, this is the Edomite. Like, nah, man, I ain't doing this. An expert on the law who multiple times has testified before Congress on various legal disputes said the United Kingdom is going to extremes now, making it abuse not to abuse a child. That's what's going on, man. Wickedness. Let me get Revelation 18. Yeah, this one.
Y'all ain't hear that? I want y'all to pay attention. Pay attention. What he said?
You heard that?
Play it again. They ain't hear that.
Don't tell one what I told you. What do you mean, You know what? Don't tell one what I told you. You got it? You're one sexy.
He said, let me whisper you a secret.
You're one sexy.
What? This is the president. Let me whisper you a secret. You're one sexy.
Don't tell one what I told you. What do you mean?
Get Hebrews 12 and 16. And then we'll switch to the next topic. Whoever got it, get Hebrews 12 and 16. Talk about drop the mic.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 12, and verse number 16.
So this is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. Bring it out.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Right. Fornicator or profane person, disgusting like Esau. This is their president that's doing this. So when the Edomite early in the video saying that, yes, America's the middleman for child sex trafficking, it makes sense. Because your president is in the same type of nature. He's in on it. Right?
It's the book of Additions to Esther, chapter 12 and verse number 6. Additions to Esther 12 and 6. It says, howbeit Haman, the son of Amathus, the Agagite, who was in great honor with the king, sought to molest Mordecai and his people because of the two eunuchs of the king. So the so-called white man always had a reputation to molest somebody, whether that's a cat, a dog, children, right? I mean, anything. He wants to molest it. And he sought to molest Mordecai and his people. So it lets you know how foul and evil and awful the spirit of the so-called white man is.
So now we're going to touch on the next topic. what's going on with the weather and the conditions that's happening. Let's get Matthew chapter 16 and verse 3. Let me get Revelation chapter 16 and verse 1. Right? So if y'all heard, not even heard, but if y'all went through it, there was a crazy hurricane that hit Chicago.
Let me bring you up to date with a few extreme weather events.
Tornado, right? Tornado, Lego Maego tornado, right? Crazy tornado that hit Chicago from Cicero to O'Hare Airport. And the tornado at O'Hare had a rainbow behind it, right? And the Lord thought that people thought he forgot about Pride Month last month. But even in the month of Pride Month, the last day of Pride Month, there was a blood moon, right? And what the Lord is showing these people, same as Sodom and Gomorrah, bringing the angels to watch and see the judgment that he's about to bring on this earth. Same as he did with the elements, same as with the child sex trafficking going on, the Lord got to wipe this place out with fire. Right? God. Right? So check this out, this video real quick.
Across the world over the past few days, this was Vermont yesterday after what's been termed a 1 in 1,000-year extreme rainfall event. 3 times the normal monsoon rain has fallen rivers in parts of India. At the weekend, big impacts from record rainfall in Japan. And at the end of last week, Spain, Zaragoza, saw heavy rain and hail right through the street.
Well, you're live with BBC News. Let's turn to another really...
Rainfall in Japan. And
so look, it's not a coincidence.
End of last week, Spain, Zaragoza, saw heavy rain and hit.
This is all over. That's USA, India, Spain, and also Japan. This is all over. The Lord is covering the whole earth, right?
Right through the street.
Well, you're live with BBC News. Let's turn to another really important story today because the beginning of July was the hottest week on record on this planet. Around the world, a series of extreme weather events have intensified.
We could see some records broken right here in the state of California. So what I'm about to show everyone, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, understand it, and even feel how hot this is. Look at this, Death Valley.
Perhaps the most alarming issue.
And there was a person that died in Death Valley at 127 degrees temperature. Right?
It's not even on land. Sea temperatures off the coast of Florida are rising to abnormal levels, reaching 32 degrees, threatening to bleach vital coral reefs and endangering marine life.
And speaking about, forget the marine life. They're talking about the animals in the water. Forget that. What about the Edomites getting attacked in the water by sharks? Right? You got to read over Edomite get eaten alive by sharks, man. What about the Edomite that was surfboarding and got attacked by 2 damn sea otters? They broke the damn board and they jumped them in the water. Right?
Sea lions?
Yeah, sea lions. God. Yeah, they attacked them.
Like the whale that swallowed up a whole boat of Edomites.
2. 2. Right? Get Job 20:27 real quick. So they're speaking about the hottest day on the earth. And it wasn't just one day on 4th of July. It was 3 days in a row. Right? Job chapter 20, verse 27.
Job chapter 20 and verse number 27. The heavens shall reveal his iniquity.
That's why they're exposing the sex trafficking in America. All the wickedness going on. Read on.
And the earth shall rise up against him.
And the Lord said the whole entire earth is rising up against his demon. From the elements to the animals to even his own people. Everyone is coming against his demon. Why? Because it's being reversed now. Because before, basically right now, everyone was coming against us. Like in Psalms 83, the whole earth came together to do what? Put us in captivity, all the nations. But now the Lord is having a reverse on these damn devils, and everything's attacking them now. The man put the damn animals in captivity in the zoo. That's a captive. Right? Locking them up. Putting them as a damn show. Put them in a circus as a damn show. You put the lion in the circus as a show, and it was jumping through hoops, and now we got the Edomite jumping through his mouth, eating through his damn throat. Right? You put the elephant in the damn circus, right? The same different type of elephant that came and attacked that Edomite in his grave, and traveled miles away to attack his Edomite. So all the animals attacking these devils, man. And when that's happening, they're falling, and guess who's supposed to rise up? Us. We're supposed to come up. God?
Extreme heat is driving extreme rain in northern India, where unusual.
So because of the heat, bring me to that. It's the book of hope slide. Get Matthew 5, 16 verse.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 16 and verse 3. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the time?
So this is 𝐻OI saying this. Y'all know when it's going to rain. Y'all know when it's going to be hot. Even the weatherman would say, hey, Friday's going to be storming and whatever. Right? But even the weatherman ain't even getting it right no more. Because the Lord has taken away all the wisdom of Esau. But 𝐻OI saying, y'all know when it's about to be hot. It's about to be snowing. Y'all know the times. Y'all don't see the signs of what's going on all throughout the earth. The uproars of the people, 2 Esdras 9 and 3, like what's happening with the uproars of France. Right? How America's being exposed. The animals attacking them. How now the people within America is starting to stand back up in righteousness. How even the sodomites, the LGBT agenda which they're pushing all over America, like Sodom and Gomorrah. You know?
A wicked and adulterous generation.
See, a wicked and adulterous generation. Speaking of that, with Kiki Palmer. Right? No respect for a husband, man. That's her husband. Say boyfriend, whatever. That's her husband. But she's holding her arms all up to Usher and everything. This is the type of generation that we're living in. And the Lord said in Sirach 9 and 9 that a man not supposed to be sitting with another man's wife. Right. Or buying wine or singing or sitting next to a songstress or a musician. But she's hanging up all up on Usher. And he's called Mississippi Girl. He got all these different songs. Right? But what happened with Kyle Kuzma? Usher tried to take his girl and she jumped right on her man's lap. She said, no, I'll take it. The same Usher that had homosexual acts with P. Diddy in the Hollywood parties. The same Usher that was caught 2 years ago, rumors of what? Giving out syphilis. That same, and herpes. That same Usher. Right? And for him, he definitely gonna need an Usher, man, because his behind better repent. Right? What about that all-white party that they had with Little Baby? With Meek Mill. With that Edomite, that billionaire, Michael something, whatever his name is. Right? Everything is being exposed in America. Right. And unfortunately for us, we're living in this wicked captivity. But we got to understand between the righteous and the wicked and be able to discern between the difference. All right? As we exposing this wickedness, we got to move in righteousness even more. We got to shine our light even more. And we're all going to be tested. Because the Lord said, gold got to be tried in the fire. And acceptable people in the furnace of adversity. And we're all going to be tested, man. All right?
A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas, and he left them and departed.
And y'all shall just drop the mic. So y'all about to find out. I ain't gonna speak no more. I ain't gonna say nothing anymore. Right? Revelation chapter 16 and verse 8.
It's Revelation chapter 16 and verse number 8. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And men were scorched with the great heat, and blasphemed the name of God, which have power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory.
So the Lord heated up the sun on the earth, record-breaking temperatures, and built Bill Gates want to resolve the sun heating up by trying to block out the sun. That's what he want to do. He said, we got to find a way to block out the sun. But you damn devil, the sun helps with everything. Right? It helps with the plants. It helps with the waters. It helps with us with our melanin, vitamin D. It helps with everything. And it's something here before the Edomites. So now you want to play God and you try to stop what the Most High created. Right? Like in the book of Genesis chapter 1. Where would you like this? Let's continue the video.
The heavy monsoons have caused deadly flooding and landslides.
So now it's the floods and landslides.
To the alarming streak of record-shattering heat, the Earth's temperature reaching an all-time high 4 days in a row.
4 days in a row.
Global temperature hitting its highest level ever recorded, with today possibly marking a new record for a fifth straight day.
But have a look at these pictures. These are from Spain, actually. Very heavy storms, heavy rain, flash flooding, and they've had a heat wave. I mean, just recently had extreme temperatures. Look at that.
And these pictures are from the north of the country. They show water, icy water, running through the street.
Tonight, raging rivers. From record-breaking storms.
This is the worst this has ever
from Ben.
And the dramatic weather patterns reported around the world have devastated parts of India. Flash floods in the capital Delhi and in northern mountain regions swept away cars and houses and even knocked down bridges, bringing daily life to a standstill.
In India's remote north, rain is expected at this time of year, but not this much. The country is thought to have had the highest daily July rainfall for 40 years yesterday. Torrents of water turned roads into rivers of mud.
I never saw such rainfall in my lifetime. I never saw such a level of destruction before.
Scientists say climate change is driving more severe weather everywhere, including here in New York State. A slow-moving storm dumping rain, causing flash flooding. More than 20 million people across America's northeast now under flood alerts.
They're calling this a 1,000-year event.
Look at that.
It's only the second time ever that the National Weather Service issued a flash flood emergency. The last time was Hurricane Ida. My friends, this is the new normal.
Zaragoza in Spain experienced unprecedented flooding just a few days ago. Residents caught by surprise as their roads turned to rivers. At the same time, temperatures keep climbing. The World Meteorological Organization saying the planet has probably just experienced its hottest week ever.
The ocean is rapidly heating up. Global temperatures keep breaking records.
The hottest day in recorded history. It started weeks ago. June was the hottest month for the planet on record. And then the news that shocked everyone this week. Planet Earth hitting its hottest average temperature ever on Tuesday.
Death Valley and the community of Furnace Creek are justifying their names. It could reach 55 degrees Celsius, 131 degrees Fahrenheit, by later today. So America, like Europe, is in the grip of extreme weather this summer. And scientists are warning, this is just the start.
Damn. This is just the beginning. No. Yeah, whatever. Get Matthew 7 and 27.
That's the book of Matthew chapter 7 and verse 27. And the rain descended, and the floods came.
And the what?
And the floods came.
And the floods came. They said it was a 1 in 1,000 years type of flood. Like the Lord said, one day of the Lord is 1,000 years with man. Right? You had a flood that happened also in Canada. Same as with the world or tornadoes that they would say as well too. And a forest fire also happened in Canada. You know?
And the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it.
And that's what happened with the mudslides. That's what he's showing it right here. Same as with the cars. Everything is getting destroyed right now. Right? Let me get another one. Let me get Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 22. So that was Matthew chapter 7, verse 27. God?
That's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 22. Then shall the right-aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds, as from a well-drawn bow, shall they fly to the mark.
Right? There was 30 cows that got hit with lightning last week, and the owners of those cows was Edomites. Right? The Lord is taking everything from Babylon. You know?
And hailstones full of wrath shall be cast out of a stone boat, and the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the floods shall cruelly drown them.
See, and the flood shall cruelly drown them. Right? This is all biblical prophecy.
I'm gonna get the book of Psalm chapter 83. I'm gonna start at verse 15, and this to go with Captain I'm bringing out. With these storms, it's terrifying and heated. And anybody who don't know, the book of Psalms 83, chapter 83 is Asaph going into the enemies of the Lord after they have made it. Well, they're making a tumult, right? To basically break up the children of Israel. And it names all the nations that had a part in it, right? So I'm gonna jump down to verse number 14. I'm gonna start at verse 14, and it reads, "As the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire, so persecute them with their tempest, and make them afraid with that storm." So we say, it's like, let me read that again. So persecute them with thy tempest. A tempest is a strong wind, a strong storm, like a tornado, a hurricane, things like that, right? What did it say? And make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their face with shame, that they may seek the name of the Lord. So the heathen gonna be seeking the name of the Lord while they're getting beat up with all these storms and all these fires and these tornadoes, hurricanes, things of that nature, right? Verse 17, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. So the heathen gonna be looking forward to the most high, but the Lord ain't gonna be there for them. Right? The Lord, he the Lord of us, and that's it. But at the end of the day, they're gonna be beat up with these storms, and ultimately till they be destroyed. How you?
Beautiful precept.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof.
So why did the Lord say he's going to smite Egypt with a plague as before? Because this is the second Egypt, like in Revelation chapter 11. The first Egypt, the Lord destroyed it with 10 plagues. But now he's going to destroy this one even worse, with hailstones, with floods, with firestorms, with all different types of abominations. And it's all part of America's judgment. Huh?
Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it.
Right. And now the people complain. Let me just show you one more.
Before Jobber, it was late nights in the office, sending quotes, sending emails, and immediately, as soon as
It's a scary moment as America's third largest city is slammed by tornadoes. Chicago's crazy weather was sparked by the heat dome covering much of the nation.
We're talking about all-time records being smashed.
I know that it is summertime, and I know it's supposed to be hot, but it is not supposed to be hot like this. The extreme heat is raising the temperature of the water off the coast of Florida to record levels, 96 degrees. So just to give you an idea of what 96-degree water feels like, it's just about the temperature of a hot tub. In fact, this hot tub here is reading at 94 degrees today. So imagine stepping into the ocean in water that's hotter than a hot tub. Marine scientist Dr. Liz Williamson.
It's pretty gross in that sense. You know, a hot tub is nice, but not when you're sitting in the ocean.
She also warns that the higher water temperatures could lead to a more devastating hurricane season.
Hurricanes are really fueled by warm water and warm temperatures. That's what really gives those storms their power. We may have an overactive hurricane season this season because of this extreme heat that we're seeing.
So that was a quick one pertaining to the tornado that hit Chicago. I think
We have had confirmed tornadoes on the ground in the Chicago viewing area. They stretched right there. Okay, can we let's zoom in on this, Joey? Can you? Okay, all right. Let's just do. Yes, look. Right here. Right, yep, right there. See it spinning up? That's it. Yeah. Look at that spinning up there, right in front of you. And look at how on the southern flank of that, we're seeing that lower as well. So we might be looking at the genesis of a tornado right here. Right. Look at that.
That's funny. You might be looking at the genesis of the tornado, right? Because Genesis 19, the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, and he had a rainbow. Right? That's what symbolized with LGBT today. They symbolize that rainbow, which the Most High made a covenant with Noah. Right? So this tornado is a tornado that had a rainbow behind it.
Is right. No, I'm hearing Pete. No debris signal. Okay. And something we should talk about. You mentioned artificial intelligence.
that some of these computer algorithms look at the radar information and assess what they think is happening.
I went from 0 to over $1 million in online publishing in 5 years. There is no better business to...
Video of the tornado. Where's this again? Campton Hills. Wow, look at that. Now that's confirmation on the tornado. Okay, looks like a rainbow. How dramatic is that? A rainbow flag?
Wow.
Looks like just maybe to the north.
Hey, yo, what he said? He said America had a rainbow flag.
Not suspecting these thunderstorms to redevelop. After we had the thunderstorms rumbling through for most of us, you get the clearing, and then this happens. Thunderstorms redeveloped in a very warm, moist atmosphere with a lot of changing wind speeds with direction, and with height. And so any thunderstorm that has developed this afternoon into this evening quickly has strengthened.
Tornado. Okay, looks like a rainbow. How dramatic is that? A rainbow flag?
Wow.
Looks like just maybe to the north of it.
Well, and that's the thing, I think.
Yeah, that's the Lord bringing judgment on. God, this place is done. It is finished, man. All right, let me get one more, then we'll touch on the new moon. Let me get Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 6.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 29 and verse number 6.
Anybody have it? Say God.
God. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest.
See, with storm and tempest, we are.
And the flame of devouring fire.
Right, and especially for these sodomites, they want to burn in their lust. The Lord is going to burn them as well. The nuclear fire. God?
Let's
get Isaiah 66 and verse 23. We'll just touch on
That's the book of Isaiah chapter 66 and verse number 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord.
So this is the new moon that we're keeping. From one new moon to another, one Sabbath to another, we must all come and keep and gather. And keep the commandments and also keep the new moon.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 81 and verse number 3. Psalms chapter 81 and 3. It says, blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the God of Jacob. So the new moon is a part of our heritage. It also represents the beginning of a new month. So it's always profitable to give all honor and glory to the Most High for keeping you in the truth for another month. A lot of people don't get to see another moon. People fall out the truth. They go back into the world, go back into foolishness. So you want to thank the Most High every single new moon for keeping you in this thing another month.
One more precept. Close it out. We ain't gonna wind it down.
Let's get Numbers chapter 10 and verse number 10. All right. Numbers chapter 10 and verse number 10. All right. Because like Tazma just brought out, right? It was a statute, right, from the Lord our God, right? So now we're gonna get that law. We're gonna get that statute that was given to us, right? Of the new moon. Right? This is Numbers chapter 10 and verse number 10. Also in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginning of your months, ye shall blow with the trumpet over your burnt offerings and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your God. I am Yahweh, your God. Right? So this is a memorial. And ultimately, right, like the brother said, brought down Isaiah chapter 66, right? this is for us to worship the Most High God. You know, we got food here, man. We got the drinks here, right? But ultimately, it's for us to serve and worship the Most High God, right? Blessing us for us to even see these times, man, right? Because, hey, our forefathers, man, our brothers and sisters of old wanted to see these times, man. We're blessed to see these times, and hey, let's just continue to endure in these last days because it's only going to get worse before we get into the kingdom, where we have rest and peace, man.
So definitely appreciate the times that we're in. This is the last days, right? We got a chance to work for our salvation, and we're watching the downfall of our enemy. Last one, Ecclesiastes 1:4.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever.
Right, the earth is going to be here forever. Right, and like it says in Matthew 6:9, so as in heaven, so as in earth, or earth as in heaven. Heaven is going to be on earth. So one generation is going to pass, another one's going to come next. If we are this generation, let's say we are the last generation, let's be an example for our children. All right? Let's be that perfect example, man. All right? And let's protect our children, man. Keep the faith, Yahweh Shah. With that, come here, show.
Come here, show.
T1, his daughter got bit by a dog, like real bad. So he asked us brothers to pray for him. And another brother in my family, his daughter just had brain cancer.
Somebody say my God needs to know you.
Me and my son too. All right. Get a rock and my son.
Everybody got some of that oil? Yeah. Good? So, we're going to do a prayer request as well for a brother who's got a bit of an incident, one of his children, and also for a brother that's having surgery, and also for any brothers and sisters that lost loved ones recently. We definitely need it. Whatever brothers and sisters going through, we got to pray to get out of the So after this prayer, we'll do an anointing prayer for everybody following the Lord. Repeat after me. All praise Yahweh Shah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, Yahweh, Shel, Shel, Ha, Ha, Raha, Raha, Shel, Shel, Yahweh, La, Dabar, Amaf, Ba, Kodash, Saparta, Warabi, Amawani, Warabi, Ahabi, Warabi, Rapaya, Warabi, Salakia, Ya, Ma, Kal, Rayam, Shah, Hawa, Hashem, Shah, the water. Actually, how much Shah, please watch over us, to guide us, to protect us, to give the spirit of more love and compassion amongst each other, to protect us from the ways of Satan, and to heal those that are sick, and also to help the brothers as well and the sisters as well in the time of need. Heal those that are injured, and how about Shah, heal those that are going through trials and tribulation. Heal those that have lost loved ones recently. And how about H.O.I to overcome all trials and tribulations. Thawadah, 𝐤𝐄𝐄. Amen. Now this is the anointing prayer for everybody. God. Yahweh. By Hashem. Yahweh. Yahweh. By Hashem. Yahweh. Yabaraki Yahweh. Yashamarika. Ya'ari Yahweh. Yahweh. Ayaka. Yahanha. Yeshai Yahweh. Yahweh. Ayaka. Shamlaka. Shalom. Yahweh. Hashem. Mashiach. Hawshai. Ma'ayo. Barak. Ropah. Yashirala. Kal. Akim. Kal. Wafim. Kal. Panium. Yashala. Yahweh. Hashem. Mashiach. Hawshai. Water. Amen. Just so y'all don't think we're making stuff up, right? This is Numbers chapter 6 and verse 22. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron, unto his sons, saying, On this wise you shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, That Yahweh bless thee and keep thee, that Yahweh make his face to shine upon thee and be gracious upon thee, that Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace, and they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Water. Amen. Praises. Hopefully y'all learned one thing. Did our job. Don't stop till the Most High crack the sky. My ghost right here.